Welcome back. We have understood what is typecasting and how does typecasting plays a key role, how we can convert one format to another format, right, integer, float, str, boolean, and now we are going to understand the very important concept of data types. The name itself says data type. Just break the word, the type of data which we are trying to represent. It's simple. So, basically a data type represents the type of data stored into a variable or memory. What is that type? Basically whether it is of number format or whether it is of string format, and you have basically I can say basically we have generally numbers, strings and the collection types, because collection types include lists, tuples, strings and boolean. Dictionary and set plays a very key role. That is the reason I have segregated into a very clear format, and if you see numeric format, it is integer, float, complex. Okay. Now, let us go into further how do we dig in detail of the built-in types, because when I say built-in types, those are the types which are already available in Python programming language. You can see how do I change this, how do I change the configuration of my idle. It's simple. You can just click on configure. If you do not want the original thing, you can just unclick this. You can see the font sample. It's up to you how do you try to use it. You click on apply and OK. I just wanted to make some fun in our programming language, right? Okay, I just click on configure. I just click on bold. I just want to have some other things. If you click on this Baltic format, new, you just play with that so that it will be easier for you. Okay. Now, we will just understand what are the data types. So, basically when I say data types, it is how the amount of data is being stored. That is basically type of data stored in a variable. Those are called as data types. When I say variable, that can be of memory, right. So, it is basically data type is nothing but the type of data stored into a variable or a memory. So, basically we have some built-in types and we have some user defined types. So, when I say built-in types, that is basically when I say built-in data types, that means those are already available in our Python programming language. That means which are already available built-in, already available, which plays a very key role with basically number format. What are they basically? It includes number format, which I generally call it as numeric. When I say numeric, it includes integer, float value and complex, and the other format which does not come under numeric is str, that is string, which comes into collection format, and the other things which we include is basically boolean. So, boolean also comes under built-in type, and also we can see none, because when I say none, there is nothing result over there. None in sense that you can see that is no output over there. None is also coming under the format of built-in, and the sequence types also comes under built-in. When I say sequence types, you can see that in the format of collection, right. So, the sequence types include the key format of how do you store the result in the format of string, right. So, when I say sequences, that includes tuple, string, integer, tuple, strings and lists, which we will be learning in the next set of videos. So, just make it simple, sequence or collection type. Now, our target is to understand the numeric type. So, when I say numeric type, it includes basically integer, float and complex. So, that is what even I have given in the presentation also. You can see numeric type, it is number type, how do you try to assign a value, and the basically it includes int, float and complex. You need not worry that you have something related to long int, short int or anything, because we are not in other programming languages, we are in Python. So, there is nothing like long, short int, long int, because that is how you represent, you store some limit of values in other programming languages, but coming to Python, there is nothing in that format. So, basically when I say integer, it is how you write an integer. So, I give a equal 25. So, you get type of a, you get the class as integer, right. So, in the same way, if you write a is equal to 2.5, what does that mean? So, type of a will be, so when I give type, you see it is giving some suggestion. So, always read the suggestions over there, what is the class it belongs to. So, type of a is an object of float class. That is the reason Python is also an object oriented programming language, because that is how Python has taken its roots. Okay. So, type of A is float, and even if you give string, see always in quotation, that is string, whether you go for single quote or double quote or triple quote, anything is acceptable, which we will understand very clearly when we discuss in detail about strings. Okay. So, you can give any format, and type of A is anyways class as string, which we have already seen. But what is this complex type? Just go back to a childhood concept. If you remember, complex is a combination of basically real and imaginary part, right. So, real and imaginary part, you have complex in the format of notation. Suppose if you do not know anything, that represents in the format of, let us try to convert complex of some number. You can see real and imaginary. So, 25 plus OJ. So, always in our maths we represent in the format of A plus IB format, but here it is in the format of A plus JB format. That means 25 plus 3J, right, that is a complex number. So, A is equal to 25 plus, if you write J3, see it is undefined, because you cannot write J before a number, that does not mean a complex. So, 25 plus 3J, if you give type of A, that becomes class as complex. And even you can represent that thing in another way, you can also make it as caps, and again type of A will give you complex result. So, 3 ways to denote complex is, so complex of given number, A plus JB format, and A plus BJ format, not JB, because real and imaginary part. You can convert anything it into complex. So, complex of 25.3, it is a complex number, and even complex of digit string, whatever you give, that converts it into complex part. So, int, float, type, complex, str, print, already we have seen around 6 built-in functions. Always just go with errors, that is debugging. So, that is the only way you learn programming, right. So, built-in types include basically numeric, it includes numbers, that is integer, float, complex, and string is how do you represent the kind of data, because string comes under sequences. So, in the next set of videos we will be understanding about the sequence pattern.